Hello and welcome back to the Jules with Gem podcast. I am your host, GiGi, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you all so much for the support. I cannot express the amount of gratitude that I have. Thank you for your support once again, your interest, your questions. It all goes such a long way. I am continuing my Breaking Down the Signs energy series, and I just have to say a disclaimer though, that the information I am sharing with you is just to explain the energies and that not everything is set in stone. I think of astrology as my cosmic parent, or rather my cosmic guidance, and that you are able to work with the energies in your chart in order to achieve your current soul mission so that you can evolve into the next phase of life. And as I always say, the only constant is change. I cannot stress the importance of knowing your birth chart as it acts as guidance for your soul's evolution, at least in my humble opinion and experience. Let's get down to it, shall we? I will start by taking a look at some well-known South African Scorpios. And they are as follows. Moonchild Sanelli, the late Brenda Fassie, Zahara, Kelly Kumalo, Tweezy, Cyril Ramaphosa, and last but not least, Katlego Danke, the fixed water sign Scorpio, born between October 23rd and November 22nd. And I just have to exhale for the sign. Oh my God, I really have to exhale for them. I found myself struggling with how to explain the energies. And, I'd like to think of myself as clairaudient, so I was constantly getting messages from that part of myself to just explain the surface level of the energy. But of course, knowing me, I'm going to go in, I'm going to go ham, I'm going to try and kill it as far as trying to break down the energy in its essence. One thing that does come to mind about Scorpion energy is that they just want to see the world for what it is. They just want to see people for who they are. These are the realists. And I think they get a pretty bad rep because their energy is misunderstood. So misunderstood. And quite frankly, a lot of them don't even care to explain. These are the natural investigators. And I think it goes beyond just digging up information about people, but more about understanding the psychological motivations behind people's actions. For them, it's more about having moments where they can say, oh, okay, it's because they experienced this, that, and the third, and they attempt to heal that within people around them. But of course, not everyone wants to be helped psychologically, especially on a daily basis. And I think that's why the energy can be perceived as too intense. There is just no in between with Scorpios. It's either they are very interested, very curious, or they're just not interested at all and won't show any initiative as far as, getting to know you. So I also think that the way that Scorpios think can have, a lot of people raising their brows, because it's like, no, dude, like I've never thought about it as far as that. People are always like, what? Why did you have to go so deep with it? And I think it's because they are so instinctively aware of what people are potentially capable of. And that's why they, I think they have, they've either encountered these experiences, they've seen, read, or heard about them before. And of course, their ruling planet, Pluto, is about taboos. So things that society wouldn't really be interested in is where Scorpio will most likely find, their heart's desires. And I think once an interest has been taken into something, it's usually extremely hard to shake thanks to, their nature being fixed. However, before we go too deep, some basic facts about Scorpio. Their polarity is negative, their quality is fixed, their element is water, the symbol for Scorpio being a scorpion, the planetary ruler being Pluto, their opposite sign being Taurus. Parts of the body ruled by Scorpio is the nose, the genitals, the rectum, the blood, and the urethra. So, Scorpio energy, I even feel so overwhelmed just talking about it. Scorpio energy is extremely powerful. These are the men and the women who own their power, their sexuality. They really embrace change when it is necessary. These are the individuals that are so fixed that it can take some time for them to get to a point where they're like, now it's time, it's time to move. But when they do decide to move, the moves thereafter will definitely be major moves. They have regenerative energy, so an encounter with a Scorpio in any capacity will change your life, literally. They live life according to their own rules, and for the most part, most of the time, they are led by their intuition, hence their sense of self is enhanced by this. Scorpio is also considered a sexy sign, or the sign that represents sex, simply because they think of sex as more than just hooking up. For them, it's an exchange of two souls, two souls' energies mixing and birthing something new. Sex is an expression of love, an exchange of energy, the body's form of poetry. It's a way of establishing how a person feels about them. It's a way of traveling through the physical depth of a person, what they like and what they don't like, and the vulnerability also associated with sex. So sex for them is not just about touching each other's genitalia or rubbing against each other's genitalia. It's more of a let's get to know each other on a deeper level, because obviously sex is not really something that everybody's going to feel comfortable talking about, but it's definitely going to be something that we're going to want to show. It's an action. It's something that both parties, or depending on how you like it, it might be more than two parties, but generally two parties that are involved, and it's a way of them being vulnerable with each other. So having said that, Pluto, the ruling planet of Scorpio, is the planet of death, and I mean this literally and figuratively. It's also the sign of power, transformation, and psychological potential and capability. Some people realize their potential through sex, some through achieving their goals, others coming into mad money, like an inheritance, and others going through some really disturbing events in their life that may have affected their psyche, especially events that may have taken place in their childhood. And these are all the things that Pluto rules. Pluto rules depth. People are often intimidated by Scorpios because of their nature to see beyond the surface. And not everybody, as I mentioned prior, feels comfortable being read to filth. Who feels comfortable, being read to filth? These are individuals who are extremely loyal. Everything is done with the utmost passion, hate and love. It's all the same for them. Scorpio is also the sign of deep transformation, and I'm sure we've all heard by now how intense they are. However, I think I would just like to explain the intensity for just a minute. I think the intensity really just derives from them feeling like they don't want to lose anybody close to them. I think they take so much time and effort and energy into investing in people around them that the closeness that is built is not done overnight. So it's essential for us as other zodiac signs to understand that Scorpios have a deep need to control things around them, and it's not because that they want to take over people's lives, although it may seem that way, but the motivation behind it is that it's stemming from not being good enough, from being insecure, from feeling like they may be abandoned, left behind, they may be forgotten. Scorpios are very well aware of what they're capable of, and what they're willing to give in any relationship. So if they feel, and remember that Scorpios usually go about things according to how they feel. It's all about vibes with them. If they feel that they're not being appreciated in the way that they would like to be appreciated, then things can get a bit ugly, things can get a bit tricky, things can get blown out of proportion. So their motivation for even hurting other people, their motivation for revenge, is more about making the other person feel the intense emotion that they would have felt or feel, obviously based upon what you may have done to them. And the pain they usually feel is so intense to the point where it makes them physically ill. They could literally just throw up at hearing that somebody close to them has betrayed them. They can literally just feel like their heart is about to fall out of their stomach, because it's like they just cannot fathom. You just cannot fathom. It's like, and trust me, at that point it's hectic, because they will start questioning every single thing, from, when it happened, how it started, who it happened with, who they were with, if it's a matter of a partner cheating, or a partner, betraying them, what happened, why, and they have such an excellent memory. So trust and believe that they will definitely put two and two together and question every single detail. They will ask you, okay, if it is a matter of maybe you stepped out of the relationship, they will ask you on which day, what was happening on that day. They will literally recall everything. They will be like, oh, okay, so it was that day when you were wearing that red outfit with, that lingerie, or that set of boxers, or that pair of socks, that necklace, or that, that perfume or cologne that they love so much. So it gets so deep for them. And of course, I'm not only referring to relationship, but it's also work partnerships, even relationships that they have with their kids may be slightly overbearing, because they just feel that they want to shelter their children from the harsh realities of the world. And I think from my perspective, it's very understandable. However, from other people's perspective, I do understand how it can be perceived as toxic. They are extremely protective of their loved ones, and remember that their opposite sign is Taurus, and Taurus is about possessiveness, is about loyalty, is about just being there for the people closest to them. So it's so easy for me to understand this energy, but I do understand how it can be perceived as negative. It can be perceived as overbearing. Like I said, they are extremely protective of their loved ones, and there really, unfortunately, is just there's no in between with Scorpios. It's either they like you, or they see no need to even acknowledge your existence. Scorpio energy is fixed, so they're not really the type of people to just watch others take care of a situation. They are the type that want to feel responsible for the success or the failures of things. So, from this perspective, one can understand why they take things so personally when things don't go their way, because ultimately, according to them, their way is the best, most logical way to go about anything, really. They give their all into everything and everyone. And, when they met with disappointment, it's extremely soul crushing. They are also known as, the investigators of the zodiac. So generally, they will find out every single thing about a job, a company, a career, a person, a dog, anything really. These are definitely the go-to people. And even when they find out the most grotesque things about whatever it is that has caught their attention, they actually seek to nurture it. This is one of the things that I can appreciate about Scorpion energy. I think a lot of us are walking around with scars. We're deeply wounded, especially emotionally. We might not have the physical scars to say, okay, this is where I've been hurt, but we definitely do have triggers. And sometimes those triggers, we don't even know how to distinguish them, because we're not even sure ourselves. We haven't really done the shadow work, or we haven't done enough of the shadow work to actually realize what our triggers are. And Scorpios are able to do just that. They are able to bring these wounds to the surface. They are able to bring out the things that we don't like about ourselves to the surface. And, in hopes of them bringing that to the surface, they can, we can change and we can grow from that, and we can overcome those wounds and become, better people essentially because of it. Because now we know why we'd feel jealous. We know why certain things will make us feel sad. We know why certain things, will make us mad. We know why, when certain things are said, why they trigger us. So I can appreciate their energy as far as that. They really want to nurture the things that we don't really like about ourselves, the things that we really just want to keep hidden. And also remember that, Pluto is, a hidden planet. It's quite far from the sun. And I think it's so fitting that Pluto would be, the planet that would represent Scorpio, because it's far from it's far from, planet Earth, and it's just, in its nature, it's dark. And not dark in the sense that, it's negative, just dark in the sense that there's not much light that they get from the sun. So you can already understand the energy. I'm so sorry if you hear that dog. Always around about this time, that dog is constantly barking. So I do apologize about that. But honestly, Scorpion energy, I can appreciate it because it's regenerative energy. Your life will not be the same once you come into contact with the Scorpio. Scorpios will make you realize certain things about yourself, certain things about your environment, certain things about the way people act, the way people, do things. I have a lot of Scorpio moon friends, and sometimes the way they think about things, I'll be like, oh my gosh, don't you think you're being a little dramatic? However, when I'm alone in my corner and I think about what Scorpio moon has said, it really hits home, because that's when you start realizing the capabilities of people. And I think that's something that a lot of us we take that for granted. But like I said, they like to know these inner parts of ourselves. For them, it's like a bonding session to get to know us a little bit better, and not just on a surface level. They like knowing things about people that other people don't know. And most of the time it's, unintentional. Sometimes it's unsolicited. People generally feel comfortable just revealing a lot about themselves. People love, telling them things that they won't tell other people, because they know that Scorpios generally won't go around and, tell other people, unless, of course, aspects in their chart, make them, go around telling other people. But for the most part, Scorpios, just won't be telling everybody, other people's business, because they actually appreciate the bonds that they make with people. Again, Scorpios, like the rest of the water signs, are healers. So they seek to heal and nurture all of the things that, most of the other zodiac signs are either hiding, running away from, or simply not acknowledging. They want people to be free from their baggage, from their struggles. And they can see a lot of the time the things that actually hold you back. A lot of the things that actually hold us back, they can see them. And, a lot of our baggage, Scorpio just unpacks with such grace and such excitement and such understanding and care. And the best way that I can actually describe it is that what other people think are cracks, Scorpio sees, as openings, to kind of dig up and clean and find new appreciation for. And it even goes as far as them enjoying these bonds because they feel closer to people because of it. So naturally, that's why they don't really like losing people. They think that, okay, now that I've established a bond with so and so, they want that bond to last forever. They want that bond to to continue for eternity, because like I said, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to get to that point with the Scorpios. So once they have established a bond with you, they are hoping and praying that it will last forever. That's why they can be so jealous. That's why they can be so possessive, because it's like, I know you more than anyone. Are you sure you want to betray me? Are you sure you want to walk out on this relationship? Are you sure? And that is also why they go to such extreme lengths to protect those relationships. They go through such extreme lengths to keep people around them. And, I can understand that energy, but I also feel like Scorpios need to learn the art of, attaching and knowing when to detach from situations. I think that's the most important lesson for Scorpios, because at the end of the day, not everyone is going to be by your side. It's not guaranteed that, you know, you'll have the same circle of friends with you next year and the following year, and even 10 years after that. People change, people grow, perceptions change, you know, needs become different. People become more demanding, people become less demanding, people start realizing the things that they actually want, and sometimes in that realization they are not part of the plan. And I think understanding that is the most important thing for them, so that they can heal their inner insecurities as well. And I think through healing other people as well is where they heal themselves as well, because they can see, oh, okay, it's not really that big of a deal. So the more they become more intertwined with people around them, they realize that certain things they really don't have to, you know, have such a holdover, because it's like, okay, if they can think that it's not a big deal, then surely I can learn that. And I think that's what they mostly take from their relationships. Their relationships, and you know, relationships for the most part, I think, are transformative for anyone. I've got Pluto in my 7th house, so I know, you know, that my relationships, any kind of relationships, whether it be, you know, in business, whether that be a partnership, a relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is, I'm definitely going to be transformed by any relationship. I'll definitely come out better. I'm going to go through the most gruesome and the most painful experiences, and I'll think that, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get out of it. But as soon as I get out of it, that's when I own my power. That's when I become a better person. And that's when I learn the art of, you know, detaching. And you know, it's on to the next it's on to the next lesson, and so the cycle goes. Let's debunk some facts and myths about Scorpio. Number 1, they are psychic. This is definitely fact. I'd like to think that the veil with Scorpios is just so thin. They are able to accurately read or dream about, or even pick up on any type of energy that may not be seen to other people. Number 2, they are controlling. I think this is a fact, because, you know, they are fixed. They are a fixed sign, so they will definitely be the ones to move it and shake it. However, I also feel like this is a myth, because, you know, when things need to be done, they are just the people to call. And I think they are just the people to step up to the plate. And I think because of this reason, it can be perceived by other people as controlling. But, you know, sometimes situations need us to step up to the plate, and they do just that, you know, facts. Number 3, they are intense. Like I said, this is definitely facts. I think because of the fact that they ask the right questions, and these questions can be very, very triggering. And when they don't get the answers that they want, they can be pretty underhanded and, you know, a bit manipulative, and go about finding out the information through other ways that, you know, may be a bit, they may be a bit questionable. And I think it's also because they know that people can be defensive and not want to engage in answering or being accountable for things. Number 4, they are mysterious. This is definitely facts. They do not part with a lot of information about themselves. But they can know a lot about people around them. Sometimes it's not even a manipulation thing. Sometimes it's not even malicious. I just think that at times, generally, people feel safe talking to them and spilling their beans. You know, as Scorpio is also known as the house of secrets, so they're known for keeping people's secrets. But I think another reason is that, you know, Scorpios don't really get a chance to spill, because people like talking about themselves, and also Scorpio doesn't really get a chance to say anything, and they also adding to the fact that they don't trust people. You know, they can pick up a lot about people just by listening to the things that they say. So they might listen to all of your problems, but then they can be like, nah, I don't think this is the person I want to confide in, because at the end of the day, this is how the person is talking about the next person. So they automatically know, okay, if they can say this about this person, then definitely, you know, they have the potential of saying that to somebody else about them. So they like to keep it within. Number 5, They are powerful. This is definitely facts. Scorpios own their truth. They own their sexuality. They own most of all the ugliness of reality, and that never parts with them. So they know that people are capable of the most gruesome, grotesque things. They know that. And for that fact, it's very hard to get them to trust anything or anyone. Number 6, they can be too emotional. I think this is facts. Again, they are water sign. And, so many people have confided in them. So it does get overwhelming knowing so much about people, and even being exposed to things like people's secrets and even everything that is unseen or unheard. Most of the time they experience these things alone. It's not things that they can actually share with other people, because remember, they are sacred beings. So they're not going to tell everyone that, oh my God, this is what I'm seeing right now, or oh my God, I had a dream about this, or oh my God, this person said that and I'm feeling so creeped out by it. They are not going to do that. They would rather internalize that feeling and take what they need to take from that feeling and just never forget it, if it's something that they deem is extremely valuable to understanding the human psyche. Number 7, Scorpios are loyal. This is definitely facts. Remember, the opposite sign is Taurus. And, Taurians, of course, they're known for being loyal. To them, loyalty is something that is way, 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 way precious. To them, loyalty has no price tag. There's nobody that can buy loyalty in this day and age, especially. So that is a prized possession for them. And, they pride themselves in being loyal, so big ups to them. Number 8, Scorpios can be vengeful. This is facts, and unfortunately I have been on the receiving end of this. And like I said before, there is just no gray area with them. They either don't care or they just care too much. And like I said, this is the house of extremes. This is the energy of extremes. Pluto, Scorpio rules the 8th house, and as we know, the 8th house rules taxes, other people's money, death. It rules money, it rules commitments, contracts, and all of those things. So this should come as no surprise, really. Nothing is really off limits. Nothing is private here. Everything, it might be private to you, but if you have any 8th house connections with a significant other, there's definitely no space for privacy at all. It's like we come from the 7th house, which is the house of Libra. It's nice because it's a partnership, very surfacey level. But then now we go into the 8th house, which entails getting married, which entails prenuptials, which entails contracts, which entails joint accounts, which entails all of the things that essentially make you one with somebody else. So it's very, very deep, because essentially if you do get married, one of those things that is deep and which would make you one with another person is marriage. So if you do get married, you technically become one with that person. You become one with their demons, you become one with their family, you become one with every single thing about them. So it doesn't get deeper than that, honestly. So as I mentioned prior, again, this is a disclaimer that not every single Scorpio will have these characteristics. So please, please, please be open-minded. And as I always say, aspects do play a huge part in how the energies will play out. I just want to end off by saying, though, water signs, we appreciate your ability to be intuitive, to make the rest of us feel safe and understood. We appreciate your in-depth knowledge of things, those unseen and, those that are not even seen by the rest of us. And I hope that I was able to break Scorpio energy all the way down for you. My next video will be about Pisces. Interesting. Pisces is very interesting. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments down below where Scorpio energy shows up for you, what I may have left out about Scorpio energy, and what your thoughts are about Scorpios in general. Show me some love and subscribe to my channel. Again, your time spent is much appreciated. Till next time, you know what you do, so keep doing what you do. Peace, love, and most of all, light. I'm out.